Capitalism release any game into the market because no matter the quality or amount of testing that's been completed, capitalism demands that you ensure a certain amount of money spent versus the money that you can make in return. I feel that plenty of the issues that we see with students.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. Let me hear that again.
Quality or simple a game. Capitalism release any game into the market because
I don't think that's necessarily true.
Pale blood.
No matter the quality or amount of testing.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Capitalism demands that you ensure
Yarnum is the home of blood administration. You need only unravel its mystery.
That's true, because there's a lot of instances of these games like
But there's an outsider like yourself to
there
begin
is a
with.
consequence to making bad video games, and that's why
Easy,
you see so many
with a bit of
studios
yarn and
have
blood of
to
your
hire
own.
hundreds or thousands of people. There is absolutely a consequence
First,
for it, and that
you'll need a
consequence is because
contract.
of capitalism. It's because people bring out a game, nobody buys it, and then they lose all their money.
The issues that we see with studios like Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, Sony, Nintendo, Tencent, and Exxon. These issues come from the fact that the modern corporate system under capitalism simply does not foster great creativity and instead it actively works against it. So I want to talk about the corporate
I don't agree with that either. I think that there's a lot of games that, for example, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 exists absolutely under capitalism, and people would consider it very creative. Same thing as, Helldivers 2. I mean, I guess Helldivers 2 isn't really super creative, but it does exist under capitalism. All of these games do. I don't necessarily, how could you, every single game, and how could you also look at old games as a frame of reference whenever back then, it's not like capitalism is a new patch that we just got 10 years ago. It's been like this for a long time. It's always been like this. Yeah, Elden Ring is capitalist, yes. He's equating capitalism with corporate greed. Yeah, I think that's basically what he's saying. Is I agree with him where it's obviously, companies that only care about profits are really what the problem is. It's not necessarily capitalism fundamentally. Because if it was, then all products would be affected to some equal degree, and it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Structure of game companies for the third time on my channel, and how these corporations don't care about you, they care about money. They take products you love and squeeze the most profit that they can out of it while minimizing costs and development effort.
True.
And to me, it's extremely important that we keep talking about this in the game space because we as gamers are extremely susceptible to being taken advantage of. We identify ourselves based on a game play. We find meaning in the art of a game. We create relationships through the shared experience we have with other gamers. It's very possible that nostalgia will creep into our lives where reason should be instead. So the more we talk about it, the more awareness we spread, and
that's true.
The more people stop falling into the trap. Though real quick, I want to point out that this problem is not just in the gaming industry. This is something that's been ruining movies and TV shows for what feels like decades now. Just take a look at Marvel, Star Wars, Disney movies in general, half of the shit that Netflix puts out. It's unfortunate, but a lot of these big budget films are turning into corporate mush. By the numbers remakes or creatively bankrupt TV series that are really just there to capitalize on your attention span. Or
there's also the other meta of Disney remaking movies so they can keep the copyright on the movie, which is another factor. But I think the reason why is because you think about it, if you're a movie studio and you're looking to invest $100 million. Do you want to invest it into maybe a director that's had a couple of pretty popular movies, but who knows? Or do you want to go with the guy that's already made 3 other popular movies for you and go with Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man is going to make money.
Good.
That's a fact.
All signed
this
and
is one of the
sealed.
problems again, and I think this does have to do with, again, companies that are not invested in the long-term growth of the product and of what they're making.
Whatever
They never
happens,
think about,
you may
what's
think
this
it
going to do
all
in 3 years? What's this going to do in 5 years? Because they're only thinking in 3-month intervals, right? With quarterly reports. So that's really what the issue is. And they're not invested in the outcome for that.
Nostalgia rather than doing anything creative or innovative. Corporations are a sign that an industry is booming. Any industry that makes money will have big corporations that control a large portion of it.
Sure.
It's no different. Ubisoft, Nexon, Activision Blizzard. These are huge companies with thousands of employees that rake in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars per year. So if they make so much money, you would think that corporations would be great for the industry. I mean, if so many people buy their products, wouldn't you think that the people like the corporations too? Well, yes, and it's sometimes a lot of people buy it. That's why they corporations can continue to survive. You know, it's the incredible amounts of new studios. Of the best, and all of their competition has been snuffed out. The best example I can give you is EA. EA puts out a Madden game every year. They put out FIFA every year, and every year they make a lot of money.
Because people buy it. That's the reason. People fucking buy it. It's not like they're being forced to buy FIFA, but they do it anyway.
A lot of money. But is Madden just the
You
only
found
game
yourself a
that's being
hunter.
marketed? Well, in a world where there isn't much competition, of course it is. There's Can you imagine a smaller dev studio trying to compete with these games? The point I'm trying to make is that these corporations have
They can't because of license.
work their way into a place where they have no competition.
Yeah.
Any competitors, even the corporations, will have an extremely difficult time creating games that can compete. So what does this mean to you? We as consumers are given an illusion of choice. In reality, we are being fed limited options, with limited competition that could have driven corporations to actually improve their game. Right now, we're seeing the consequences of a lack of competition in games. Pokemon is
I think that really, there's all big games like FIFA because of like all of the secondary things like licensing and getting characters likeness and making sure everything is up to date. All of that. I do definitely think that FIFA is kind of a really like nuanced example because of all those secondary factors. However, whenever I think about the rest of it, I do think that really these kinds of things work themselves out in the free market. Like Power is a great example of that. And I think that's why having a free market is great. It's because you can't just keep making a Pokemon game forever and ever and ever. Because you're having the IP is
RPG. Games like Warcraft, RuneScape, or Final Fantasy. Just recently, we had a Star Wars Battlefront remake release, and it was worse in quality than the originals that came out in the early 2000s.
Instead of Battlefront fans being treated to a bit of fan service, this collection is a shameless money-grubbing exploit of said fan base. This is nothing more than a cold-blooded attempt to exploit people's nostalgia, which is the most disrespectful thing you could do with a game like this.
We need to be very
welcome to every fucking remake.
Yeah,
aware of the fact that gaming companies are not
That was especially bad.
more happy with the choices of games. They aren't going to go the extra mile beyond their planned budget just to make sure that the game they're making is perfect. And it's going to be as minimal costs as possible. You may say, some game studios love their fan base and are constantly communicating with their fans to give them more. Do they actually care? Yes, the companies do. No, they don't do that because they care about you specifically. They will build the games you're liking because if enough people agree with you and stop playing the game, it's beneficial for them to do what you're asking and get people buying. This is an example of aligned interests. See, corporations will basically align themselves with whatever's going on. That when game trend makes them the most money. Why do you think there will be games that will anyone
Well, that's not really a bad thing. I mean, I don't think we can really categorize a company this. I don't think this is bad. I mean, what he's saying is that the company is going to make the product that the consumers want. Like, that's good. What else would you want them to do?
models. Even though Suicide Squad killed the Justice League was pretty much it's because the live service model was proven to be safe. That's good for Smaller studios can't get away with stuff like this is because they need their interests to align with customers more often in order to get customers to buy the product. They are the end of it. They need to make sure their game is good enough that player base sticks around instead of going to the other AAA options that have much larger market.
That's a good point, yeah. That's
And I hate to be so cynical, but that's just how business works. Sometimes a customer's interests align with company, sometimes it doesn't. The business will decide what they do based on the amount of money they make, not how happy they are customers. And you want to look at it.
Well, I don't think that's true either. I think that making customers happy makes you a lot of money in a lot of cases. I think they can be one and the same. And really, it's about how you approach it and what the company is doing in that situation. Like, of course, there's going to be times where a company is doing something and it's only for money, like making a pay-to-win feature in the game. But in a lot of cases, this is kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So it's like if the company is financially benefited by doing something that you like, then they're only doing that because they're trying to steal your money. But if they're doing something that you don't like, well, then they're disconnected and they don't know what people want and they don't care what people want. So there's really no way that, based with this logic, you can have a situation where a game is actually is authentically good. It's basically like there's no way. It's either, you're right or they're wrong.
You may ask yourself the question, do you think that if hundreds of thousands of people complain about predatory cash outs, games will stop having predatory cash outs? No.
Yes. Absolutely. Because of enough, then people will stop buying it. So the problem is that people don't. Yes and no, yes or no? Well, it's kind of both. I mean, to be fair. Like, the truth is that the reason why Candy Crush has a cash shop is because people buy the things on the cash shop. If people stopped buying the things on the cash shop would go away. And maybe the game would go away too. Let me tell you this. If whenever Blizzard brought out their first tournament, 85% of the WoW player base immediately unsubscribed that day. Bobby Kotick himself would have written a handwritten apology to the World of Warcraft community and promised to never add mounts again. But that didn't happen. Because people, like, again, and this is the issue that, like, I think he's probably the same as me, is that we're, in a lot of cases, in an echo chamber with games. Like, we're talking, like, he's a 30-year-old man, probably, I'm a 30-year-old man, and we're sitting here talking about how good games used to be and how everybody hates this stuff. But the truth is that we're not the norm. We're not the majority. We're the top 5%. We're the top 10%. So whenever a game is made for market, they're not thinking about the 10%. They're thinking about the 90, even less. Maybe you're right.
Because for every hundreds of thousands of people complaining about the cash shop, there are 10 people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in that cash shop. And if corporations are psychologically manipulating customers into spending more money, creating barriers to entry that prevent any real competition, making budget cuts while releasing games of questionable quality, and doing all of that while trying to spread a message of, we do this for you, dear consumer. If the corporation is evil, wouldn't you expect the people working in the corporation to be evil too? Like little henchmen to a supervillain right out of a comic book? Obviously the answer is no. Everyone that works in a corporation is evil, and to be fair, not every corporation is evil. But what we as consumers need to understand is that the corporate structure itself has been which is to make money. Right with the board of directors, the president of the company, and the C-suite. These guys make all the decisions, and most of the time, their job is not to care about games, it's to care about the welfare of the business. But does this make them evil? Well, some of them might be, but
it doesn't make them evil and it doesn't make them good. And this is one thing that I really wish more people understood about companies, is that companies are not evil, nor are they good. They are amoral, like, devices and, like, objects or things that exist to make money. So, like, whenever a company is agreeing with your political opinion, they're only doing that so you have a more positive viewpoint of that company, and then you might buy their shit. They don't care about these problems. They don't care about those people. They don't care about any of it. The only thing they care about is making money. Now, I think that there are smaller companies that don't have this issue. But once you get into the publicly traded, large-scale company, you do obviously run into fiduciary responsibility, which is the obligation that the people that run publicly traded companies have to make the company more money. It's a literal law. So yeah, I do think that this is a big factor. I don't think companies are evil. I don't think they're good. And I wish more people stopped waiting for, like, stop trying to hope that a company would reaffirm their viewpoint or reaffirm their values. Because it's just simply not what companies are made to do.
Being an executive of a corporation doesn't inherently make you an evil person. Most of the time, it just means you're good at your job.
On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer. But in my heart, I am a gamer.
It's just relatively the same for all the employees below them. They're hired to do a job, and that job is related to some function of the business needs in order to make money. Now, of course, there will be plenty of people who do their job and are passionate about making a great game. I'm sure Ian has a closest, the game that he does for WoW, who truly wants to make the game better. He has always seemed very passionate, but he doesn't have a final say. If he makes a game that doesn't rake in more than $1 year, he will be seen as a failure in the eyes of business. They may not fire him on the spot, but you best believe he's going to be under an incredible amount of pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
What's up, everyone? Editor Jack here, and I have a treat for you. I actually got a hold of some real fake info footage of an actual fake Bethesda meeting where they could start students using status update and fake news. They make real fake changes on the spot. This proves how easy it is for the people in charge of the business side to change the creative side of the business. Bobby? Talking about the QA results for our next Starfield game named Starfield Plus. If we keep our current pace with
Starfield Plus. There's something about that is very unsettling because I could very easily imagine Starfield Plus becoming real.
in about 31 weeks or
Yeah.
Any questions? Yes, sir, Jack. This is Jim, your CMO. This Chief Marketing Officer. You're telling me that you'll address all these bugs will take 31 weeks. That is well past our targeted launch date, and I would really like to hit the launch date because that puts the release of this game right before the holiday. Now, we'd love to have some myself with holiday work. That is a huge opportunity for some return on investment here, and I don't think the company can afford it.
They did this with PUBG. They pushed PUBG to early access way too early. Microsoft did this.
Yeah, I see. Let's reduce the number. So reducing the size of the QAT so we have to retest as many mixes as possible. Let's see what I can do this video for basic test. And next we have to get very it really should be focused. So, okay. Or our day to really push us back into numbers.
Finished.
Used a lot. It's a sprint.
Especially
Yeah.
for real life. Yeah, and when we're talking about the dev team, he's our chief video games. Check with the devs we planning a new Hispanic like Miles Morales. Miles Morales, he's and Hispanic. So think I think I can do that. You do know.
I do think that there's like a confirmation bias of I do think there's a confirmation bias where like a lot of the companies that try to go for ESG points are creating bad games. So people view games that have representation worse because a lot of games try to go for representation because they can't stand on their own with gameplay. I think that definitely happens. Like logically, that's what makes sense, right? It's like if you can't secure investment with the gameplay quality, and you can't secure investment with like the, well, I don't know, what else besides gameplay quality, right? Gameplay quality. Well, then instead of that, now you're securing investment because of some sort of like representation or ESG. So it would logically make sense that a lot of the games that have ESG funding, or at least a larger percentage of those games, would have lower quality games because they would need that funding, and in order to get that funding, they would have to change the game that way.
Being about space exploration, creating your own station, right? We have this, right? Yeah, that's not like not the creative guy. That's probably something on our team. Okay, so more crunch time will get bumped anyway. QA team may work faster to optimize their usefulness before the fire, and mine tomorrow is okay. Thanks for great time. It's considered part of the and as a state fair, I'm taking the photos here's my drop, here's the main windows building up to here we go. Yeah. Basically, I would like for us game to protect ourselves against this. If they get your money, they don't care about your complaint. At the end of the day,
I think that people get too emotionally invested into the outcome of any game, and they get when a game is bad, or too happy whenever a game is good. I think that people should try to disconnect a little bit from the way that they consume entertainment. And I think that people treat entertainment too seriously nowadays, and it's not healthy. Bro, it costs fucking $100. Yeah, but like, I'm not just talking about like AAA games. I'm talking about like in general. I think that people just have like too much of an unhealthy relationship with entertainment media in general. Whether that's people that are super parasocial towards streamers, whether that's people that are crying about the Star Wars trailer, whether that's people that are spending $2,000 on Bombay Star Rail. I think that just really, you have a lot of people that are just like so hyper invested emotionally and also financially in entertainment media that it's like a god. It's like their religion.
This was once a safe haven for
I think that
hunters.
also the companies,
A workshop
the
where
companies try
hunters
to like
used blood
incentivize
to
that. They try to
enhance their
cultivate that.
weapons and
I feel like the
flesh.
structure leads to
We don't have as many tools as we once did, but you're welcome to use whatever you find.
And unfortunately, the business side will always win because games need money to be made and function. The world doesn't run on good vibes and fun games.
This
It runs
was
on
once
passion.
a safe
Any
a
conflict that
workshop
God may have
where
is
hunters
this will make us more. There's a protected structure of operation. It's not one person's fault. It's a system. The system was created to efficiently run a business, and that's it. Corporations don't foster creativity with it.
I think that really whose fault is it? It's people's fault. Because if you decide to buy a game, like for example, Smilegate, which are the people who make Lost Ark, this is a privately owned company. So there actually isn't like there generally a lot of the big bad companies are the ones that are public, but that's not always true. So what ends up happening is that a lot of these companies are just doing it for money, but the reason why they keep doing it is because they keep getting money. So really who's at fault is the customer. And that's the only person who can keep them accountable. Like the government can't keep them accountable, the employees can't keep them accountable, the shareholders can't realistically keep them accountable, like nobody can keep them accountable except for the customers. The customer is the bottom line. And if you're buying games that you think are bad, stop buying games that you think are bad. Stop giving these companies money if you think the games suck. Stop pre-ordering. Stop, buying into the hype. Stop buying $500 or $500 worth of microtransactions. Because that's the reason why these games exist. And also, if a massive, like with any of these free-to-play games, it's true that free-to-play games make like 70% of their sales off of like 1% of their customer base. It's like some crazy fucking statistic like that, right? I think it's inaccurate, but it's something that's massively disproportionate, as you would pretty much assume, right? That 1% is spending all the money is so they can eat the other 99. So in a video game or like a pay-to-win game that doesn't have a massive economy of other people playing, the game will die out. So the reason why these games are still successful is because people keep supporting them. Be against them.
The structure has been put in place to make compete based off data and educated decision making. And that's why creativity is only tolerated as long as you can find
Yeah, you should just really, I think the problem this game is so good. The trailer is so good. It's except for like making it look how it's actually streamers don't help with that. Streamers absolutely make it worse. They 100% do. And they also make it a lot better. Like, for example, I think that a lot of people, whenever a new game comes out, they're going to watch me. They're going to watch Lyric. They'll watch Charles. They'll watch Chance. And they'll see it. And they'll be like, if it's FPS, they're going to watch Shroud. They're going to look at it. They're going to see for themselves. It's just like, right? No? Okay. All right. Now I'm going to buy it. And that's it.
because this validates
That doesn't happen. Happen, then I wouldn't be paying a ton of fucking money to play games on my stream. It absolutely happens.
It's all your fault! I'll mess up your brain! Oh, God!
This was this is their heart.
be predatory and
How
have
it is.
microtransactions. Don't pre-order online games if the developer has
True.
given you a reason to trust that the game will be actually good. Just be aware. And most of all, if a game comes out and it's shit and you happen to play it, it's going to give it a nice sort of game.
Also, wait, it's common Steam W. Steam for the day before, which is this game. Whenever this game came out, it was so bad. Steam proactively issued refunds to every single person who bought the game. Everybody got their money. And keep in mind, Steam is also a company.
Away!
And you're seeing that happen with these small games, with those still games become so popular. I think that this is a problem that the free market will solve in time. And also, there will always be games that are garbage. There's always been games that are garbage. So, I mean, like, yeah, we can all talk about how bad Skull and Bones was, but let's be honest. There have been a lot of bad games that came out on GameCube. Like, it's not like GameCube didn't have bad games. That's just how it is. It's that he's talking to me and about how that the people that are making the company for these games aren't even paying attention. I've heard and watched those videos with subscribers.
Oh, God!
It's about and hyper like pessimistic and right. So it's just greed. Yeah, basically it's just greed. Because again, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, all of these games exist in a capitalist economy that you get to make the choice whether you're going to play these games or not.
Away! Away!
These games, and I don't think that there ever really will be, because of the advantage EA has over the it is.
Please! Yeah!
I don't reckon you're from round here. Well, stuck outside on a night of the hunt. Oh, you poor, poor thing.
This turn's finished. Lads, you come on. You'd open the door on a night of the hunt. Away with you. Now.
Oh, a hunter, are you? And an outsider? What a mess you've been caught up in. And tonight of all nights. Here, to welcome the new hunter. Prepare yourself for the worst. There are no humans left. They're all flesh-hungry beasts now. Still lingering about, what's wrong? No matter. Without fear in our hearts, we're little different from the beasts themselves. What are you still doing? Enough trembling in you. A hunter must hunt.
You're a hunter, aren't you? Then, well, do you know of any safe places? I've heard I have. Shutting up indoors isn't always enough. Well, if you hunters got off your asses, you wouldn't be in this mess. You're obligated to help me, you hear? So what'll it be? Are you going to tell me you're not? Yeah, I should have known. You're good for nothing. No respect for the elderly is what that is. That lot of good you outsiders do. Go on, admit it. You think we're all mad, don't you? Well, go and stuff it. I know all your tricks.
Precisely how it is. Stop!
This town's finished.
Help me. I must.
Leave.
good hunter. I am a doll, here in this dream to look after you. Honorable hunter, pursue the echoes of blood, and I will channel them into your strength. You will hunt beasts, and I will be here for you to embolden your sickly spirit. Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes. Did you speak with Gehrman? He was a hunter long, long ago, but now serves only to advise them. He is obscure, unseen in the dreaming world. Still, he stays here, in this dream. Such is his purpose. Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world. Welcome home, good hunter. What is it? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes. Farewell, good hunter.
Yeah.